Hey there, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into the February 28th devotional, which is titled Finding Lasting Joy. We're going to be looking at a really cool idea today, uncovering the secret to finding a kind of happiness that literally never, ever runs out. Sounds pretty great, right? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this with a fun question. What is your absolute favorite way to have fun? Seriously, think about it for a second. Maybe it's playing your favorite video game for hours on end. Or, I don't know, riding the absolute tallest roller coasters you can find at an amusement park. Or maybe it's just running around outside with your friends. And those are all awesome. But the devotional points out a kind of tricky part about all these things. The fun always eventually stops, right? The game ends. The park closes for the night. Your friends have to go home. So the fun is great, but it's temporary. It just doesn't last forever.
To help us get why this temporary fun always leaves us wanting more, the reading introduces this word, cistern. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth is a cistern? Well, it's basically this old-school underground tank that people used way back in the day to catch rainwater, so they'd have something to drink when it got super dry out. But there's a massive problem with these things. They would often crack and break. Imagine trying to hold water in a cup that has a giant hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it just leaks right out, and you're left completely thirsty all over again. And the text actually calls the temporary amusements of our world broken cisterns.
And this brilliantly illustrates the huge difference between those temporary things and what Jesus offers. Temporary fun, the video games, the running around, it's exactly like trying to fill up that broken, leaking cup. You try so hard to fill up your happiness meter, but the feeling just leaks out, and pretty soon you're looking for the next fun thing. But in total contrast, the devotional describes Jesus as this inexhaustible, totally overflowing fountain that literally never runs dry. When you go to that fountain, you're drinking from a stream of permanent, lasting joy.
The heart of this whole idea actually comes from the book of John, chapter 7, verse 37, which says, "If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink." Our text today asks a really brilliant question about this invitation. It asks, have you exhausted the fountain? And the answer? Absolutely not, because it is inexhaustible. That means no matter how many times you need a drink of happiness or peace or comfort, that fountain is completely full. It's just sitting there, waiting for you to visit it again and again and again.
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8 describes the feeling of drinking from that fountain like this. It says, "Ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory." Joy unspeakable. That means it's a happiness so huge and so deep that dictionary words literally can't even capture it. The author is talking about a deep-down joy that just fills you up entirely. It is way, way beyond the temporary thrill of, say, finally beating that impossible video game level or unwrapping a shiny new toy.
But, hey, let's be real for a second here. Life isn't always perfectly happy. So what happens when you have a really bad day? Because we all have them. Just imagine waking up feeling super grumpy, maybe getting into a big argument with your sibling, or facing a really tough temptation. Does that mean your access to that never-ending fountain is just suddenly cut off? Does that joy unspeakable just vanish into thin air the second things go wrong? Well, the devotional uses this incredibly powerful picture to explain what's going on. It says, "The clouds might hide the sun, but they do not destroy it." Think about a super gloomy, rainy afternoon. You look up, the sky is totally gray, and you can't see the sun at all. But you know for a fact the sun hasn't actually vanished, right? It's still up there, shining just as brightly right behind all those thick clouds. The author explains that our trials, our bad days, and our temptations, they're exactly like those clouds. They might make things look dark and gloomy for a little bit, but they absolutely do not destroy what the text calls the sun of righteousness. And here is where the devotional offers a really comforting promise. It says that the face of our Redeemer is not forever hidden. When those cloudy, really frustrating days happen, the text is reminding us, hey, don't throw in the towel. It promises that even when you honestly can't feel it in the moment, Jesus is still looking down on you with deep love and tender compassion. He's totally ready to walk with you through the darkness, just as much as in the light. And eventually, the cloud will pass. So, the crucial point is, how do we actually handle those cloudy days while we're waiting for the sky to clear? The devotional outlines 3 super concrete steps. Step 1, remember the sun is still there. That's your reminder that Jesus hasn't left you. Step 2, keep your mind stayed on Jesus. This means you deliberately choose to focus your thoughts on Him instead of just dwelling on how miserable that cloudy day feels. And step 3, sing a song of joy. Yep, the text actually says that by doing this, we shall go singing on our way. It's basically saying that cheerful waiting is the absolute best way to get through the tough days.
Now, you might be thinking, how do I actually keep my mind stayed on Jesus on a totally normal Tuesday afternoon? Well, the text suggests a few really simple everyday things you can do to take a drink from that fountain. First up, pray when you feel sad. Just talk to him like you would a really close friend. Second, read a Bible verse. The devotional actually compares that to taking a giant, refreshing gulp right out of the fountain. Third, try being kind to your siblings or your friends. Using love like that is a great way to shift your focus. And finally, just remember the beautiful light. Think back on times when you felt really close to God. Doing these simple things helps blow those dark clouds right out of the way.
Which brings us to a really thought-provoking question I want to leave you with today. How will you choose lasting joy today? Are you going to spend all your energy trying to scrape tiny drops of water out of those broken cisterns of temporary fun? Or will you look toward the totally inexhaustible fountain we talked about today? The text really encourages us to keep our eyes fixed on that permanent joy, even when life gets a little cloudy. Thank you so much for joining me as we explore this awesome devotional today. See you next time.